Hey everyone, so I hope Season 5 of Go Battle League is going well for you. So I got a little cup strategy that I wanted to showcase. I will be honest, at first I was using Bronzor because I was like, this thing is really strong. It doesn't matter if you bring a counter to it or not, it's just so strong, it dominates everything in the meta for the most part. But I'm thinking, okay, well, I feel like I'm the Spice King, right? So I should spice it up a little bit. So I threw on Tackle Bronzor. I was like, okay, this makes Bronzor spicy enough. But a Tackle Bronzor is still a Bronzor, and I got sick of the mirror matches, and at least half my matches would go to timeouts. So then I made the commitment to just make a team completely without Bronzor and see how it goes. So the team I've been using is Alolan Sandshrew with Shelmet and Shadow Stunky in the back. Alolan Sandshrew might be a little bit hard to obtain because you'll have to find one that's hatched at a lower level, or if you had a ticket to the Philly Safari Zone, then they were spawning in the wild there, you might find one from that, or you can trade, or you can get one from a trade from someone that did attend the Safari Zone event. For Stunky, you definitely want the Shadow variant because it's very key to have that heavy output damage against Bronzor. If you have Frustration on yours, you don't really need a second charge move, so I would just run Crunch if you're running it single moved. Alright. So, getting into the battles, Bronzor lead, not usually ideal just because Alolan Sandshrew does beat it if you go straight to the 2 shields. However, you really want to lock in that Shadow Stunky with it. Alolan Sandshrew's main goal here is to check any Cottonees around and any Deinos. So Shelmet is usually a decent safe swap. I'm actually running Signal Beam on mine. You can use either Signal Beam or Bug Buzz. Bug Buzz is technically more energy efficient, but Signal Beam has a chance of debuffing both your opponent's attack and defense. Bug Buzz has a chance to debuff your opponent's defense. Bug Buzz does take a little bit more energy, so there's that, but it, again, is more energy efficient, so I think that is probably the better move. I just like the fun of using Signal Beam. I think it's 20% for the debuff chance on Signal Beam and 30% on Bug Buzz for just defense. Yeah, you could double check that though, I might be wrong. I think those are the numbers. Alright, so Sandshrew still has a little play right here, and then my opponent is staying in here, which makes me think that they're weak to Sandshrew in the back. It might be a Cottonee, or it might be a Deino. So I'm going to just charge up. Ends up being Deino, which is perfect, because now I have the Gyro Ball. Otherwise, my Stunky would have completely lost in the back, bringing the Stunky to finish off the job. Seel, another very common Pokemon, very hard to deal with too. It's pretty bulky because of its stats, and it has solid typing for this cup, and then it also has really great moves actually. So Sandshrew actually does lose this matchup, so you kind of want to weaken the Seel a bit and then eventually bring in Shelmet to kind of finish off the job. So I bring in Shelmet right here. Now I know that I could completely beat the Seel if I want to, if they stay in, or they might swap out, which is fine. It looks like my opponent here is staying in, so I'm going to let all this go just because Icy Wind or Aqua Tail, you'll survive. And they bring in their own Shelmet. And this is actually a really smart play by them because they ensure the switch advantage just because I'm weakened and I have a debuff. I'm just going to go for the Signal Beams just to do some extra, have a chance to potentially debuff my opponent. But yeah, I mean, although this is a losing matchup regardless. And then now I bring in my Sandshrew. So I didn't want to get farmed too much, that's why I bring in my Sandshrew early. I don't know if that's the best idea because they have a Cottonee or a Deino in the back, then I'm in a bad spot. But the best thing about this team is they don't know what you're running, but there's a good chance they got a Bronzor in their teams. Yep, and there's the Bronzor. So I think that's the best part about this team, and kind of a downside of the cup, but something you could take advantage of is you know that there's almost going to be a Bronzor on every team, which means that you just save your Stunky for that matchup, and you're usually in a good spot. Alright, so Deino in the lead, perfect lead you want to see, get rid of the hardest counter to Stunky in the back. And then they come in with their own Shelmet, so I had to weaken it a little bit before I go into my own, just because I don't really want to lose switch advantage here. I'm going to tank the Body Slam, it's not going to do too much, it is resisted, and then I go for the Body Slams right here. Looks like my opponent might be going for one as well, yeah. And that's fine, and then I am probably going to just keep spamming these Body Slams and see what happens right here. So I'm going to farm a little bit. Potentially this could be a Bug Buzz, so I am going to shield, just because the Deino's not going to appreciate the Signal Beams coming in either. So now this is really good, right? Because pretty much everything has a shield here, and it is a Bronzor, so perfect, what we want to see. This way the Bronzor is aligned with the Stunky later, and that'll be good. The scary thing here though is that Bronzor with energy, ooh, and you get the debuff here, so that's huge. All right, here comes the Deino right here. I am going to have to shield because I don't really want to have to deal with. Yeah, I just, it's gonna take me out if I don't shield right there. I need to get rid of this Deino. Unfortunately, I can't get the Night Slash off, so now I'm actually kind of in a rough spot. I say this because this Bronzor has energy already, and 2 charge moves will take me out. So there's one, and then, yeah, here's the second one. So again, Bronzor, very strong in this cut for a reason, right? This is a hard counter Bronzor, and you still get taken out by it because that just has great coverage moves as well. And so, yeah, in those situations, even though I won the lead and everything, my opponent played it really well by managing their energy and the health on their Pokemon. All right. Now, let's do a redo, because usually you're not supposed to lose the Deino leads, but it does happen. Just wanted to show how it's possible. So here's the best part about Shadow Stunky. They come in with Bronzor, you just go straight bite. Don't throw any charge moves, shield once, and you're good, right? They could throw Side Shock, they could throw Heavy Slam. Just don't throw any moves yourself and just go straight bite. You do a ton of damage right there, and they won't be able to get off a second move, unless it came in with more energy or you're slow to swap, right? Okay, so this is perfect. I lock in this matchup, and then here comes Nincada. Yeah, and so this is pretty easy just because Sandshrew counters as well, and I get the boost, but also Shelmet should win this match too, especially at this range, unless they get like a bunch of boosts for some reason. But yep, so Shelmet doesn't even need to do anything right here, and you win the matchup right there. All right, Igglybuff. Definitely an interesting Pokemon too. Unless you have a legacy one, they've probably spent an elite TM on it to get Body Slam. So yeah, usually if you run into one of these, the trainer's probably very committed to winning. So this is a pretty solid matchup because if you land the Heavy Slam, it is super effective because of the Fairy subtyping. In comes Seel right here. So the reason why I'm throwing these Night Slashes is because I want to ensure I maintain switch advantage. So I don't want Igglybuff matched up against Stunky because it is going to resist the bites from Stunky because of that Fairy typing. So I'm just going to just keep spamming these Body Slams and then take care of the Seel right here. Maintain the switch advantage. Like I said, they probably have a Bronzor in the back, which means the Stunky can do some work. All right, so I let that charge move go, and then now I'm going to come in with probably my Stunky to get some energy advantage, actually. Oh no, I come in with Sandshrew. Okay, that's fine too. Let's see if they come in with Bronzor or they come in. Yeah, they come in with Bronzor. I go for a quick swap here. This is not great. So I do have the shield here, but I think what I'm going to do is commit to farming down. Feint Attack doesn't generate energy very quickly, so that is a pretty good spot to be in. I'm going to throw the Flamethrower. So I forgot to mention this earlier. I actually would recommend Sludge Bomb over Flamethrower, and these are some of the early matches where I am running Flamethrower. So as you can see in the initial movesets, I did mention Sludge Bomb, and because Flamethrower just doesn't have that much utility. Crunch would have been fine there, but Sludge Bomb you really need against Deino if you have the energy, and also Cottonee. Alright, this is actually a really good spot to be in, so you definitely want to eventually swap out here if your opponent doesn't. It just turns out that they swapped right when I swapped, and I just swapped into a perfect counter to their Why Not. Which is great. Main reason is not because it's the worst matchup against Stunky, but you want to save your Lowland Sandshrew for the Cottonees and the Deinos in the back, right? If they have any. This is good. Force out shield right here, and then now I'm going to come in with the Lowland Sandslash at this point. There's a chance that they still have a Deino or Cottonee in the back, but most people in this cup are running Bronzor, so I'm thinking, okay, at this point, I saw 2 of their Mons, they probably have Bronzor in the back, right? And I come in with my own Bronzor, and as expected, here comes the Bronzor, and then go straight for the Crunch and take him out. This is actually a Tackle Bronzor too, which is why it's doing so much damage, but Tackle definitely generates energy a little bit slower, so you don't even need to worry about using Shield. Vullaby. Vullaby is quite rare. Similar to Alolan Sandshrew, you have to trade it from a lower level account, or if you're lower level, that's fine too if you hatched it. But I would say it's actually harder to acquire than Sandshrew, because Sandshrew, at least, there was an event where they spawned them, and you can find people that have it, or if you attend the event yourself. Vullaby is very recently new, so most people don't have a lot. But if you do run into one in the lead, it's fantastic, right? Because you're doing super effective damage with the Powder Snows, and you just outpace it to its charge moves. All right, so here comes Bronzor. My guess is they probably don't have a Cottonee in the back or Deino, so that's why I swapped right there, just so that, yeah, but just in case they did, I guess, so that's why I swapped out. But worked out anyway, because it would take out the Stunky and then just go ahead and throw the Signal Beams. Try to get that debuff. If not, no worries. Still going to do a decent amount of damage, and they actually end up CMP right there, so that's good. They do, I think they undercharge right there, which is very smart by them. But now I'm just going to come in with my Stunky and just bite straight down. Even if I get hit by one charge move at this point, it's fine. Yeah, and then my opponent's going to quit because they realize the situation there. Cottonee, very great to see in the lead. Most people tend to lead with it. I don't see a lot that have in the back if they have any, so that makes the low and Sandshrew even a better lead in these scenarios. And then I'm going to go straight for the body slams. You can always argue that maybe you could go for Signal Beam to fish out the debuff, but the thing is a lot of Seals will actually they'll often shield the first move, so you just want the body slam anyway, right? Because it takes way more energy to get a Signal Beam. They actually double shield right there, which is interesting. But I'm going to get off another body slam, and they must really want to ensure the switch advantage. And so I come in with Stunky to farm, and then they bring in their Cottonee. So kind of an interesting play, but I think I get it because my guess is they have a Bronzor in the back, and if I bite straight down the Seel, I'll have a Sludge Bomb ready for Cottonee, and I'll have still my Stunky alive for the Bronzor. So I just put them in a really bad spot because they spend both shields, right? I think if they had a shield left, then they could have stayed in, let me farm, it's fine, and then come in with Cottonee, right? But at this point, I'm going to bite straight down and take out the Bronzor. Again, a lot of teams have Bronzor, almost every team, to be honest. I could pretty much count the amount of teams I've faced without Bronzor, so it just makes predicting your opponent's moves much easier, right? And harder for them to predict your own. All right, fire users. Pansear, doesn't matter what fire users, Vulpix, Darumaka, it's awful against this team. I had to swap in a Shelmet that's also weak to fire to pivot around this. Now, even though that's a big weakness to this team, and you know, Stunky isn't the best against fires either, it's something I'm okay with because there are so few fires in this meta. There's Deinos around, there's Seals around. It's just really hard to bring in fire consistently and hope to win. Even Wynots are decent too in neutral. So it's a weakness that I'm very comfortable with having. And if that's the case, and that's a weakness I have, then it is what it is. I think this opponent is not even running a Bronzor either, so good spice from them as well. Something I noticed too is this team is great against teams with Bronzor, but it's not great against teams without Bronzor actually. So if you run into another anti-meta team with this team, then you know you're not going to do as well. But you know that's the whole point, right? Anti-meta teams are there to beat the meta, not necessarily beat things that are off meta. Actually very close right there. I don't know if that Night Slash would have done enough, but unfortunately they had charge move ready, and yeah, that's going to be a game. But you know, I think given the lead situation, I'll take that. It's a loss. All right, Shadow Venonat. What did you do here? Is this a Shadow one? I think it is, right? Double check. Yeah, Shadow Venonat. So you don't want to stay in just because you're resisting the moves on Sandshrew, and then here again they come in with their Seel, weaken it first. Now ensure you win switch advantage. I actually have a shield advantage here too, which is actually really great. If you do want to shield a Shelmet anytime, I always recommend shielding the first move because it's more likely than not going to be Icy Wind, which you'd rather shield than shield the Aqua Tail, right? Alright, so I'm just going to throw these body slams and yeah, let's take it out. And then they actually bring in their Venonat again to avoid getting farmed down. And then I'm going to bring in my Sandshrew to avoid getting farmed down myself. Poison Fang. Alright, even though it's resisted, Sandshrew is quite glassy, and I'm actually quite low on health at this point too. So I go straight for a farm down right here. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. Let's see if it's a good idea. Okay, here comes Bronzor. Yeah, maybe not a good idea. Maybe I should have just thrown it earlier because I actually have so low health I can't even get the second one off. But at this point with Bite, I should be able to win the zero shield here. I'm going to get hit by Heavy Slam, which is going to do quite a bit of damage. They actually throw in their Seel to try to catch a charge move, but it doesn't end up working. Which actually worked out in my benefits. I got to crunch a little bit faster. Alright, Nincada, very great to see as well because you are doing super effective damage with the Powder Snows and you're resistant to bug damage. Alright, again, same thing, weaken the Seel, come in with your Shelmet. And the good thing is Nincada doesn't even have the best matchup. So that's actually why I shielded right there because I just want to ensure that I definitely win this matchup. And so if Nincada comes in next, it's going to take a bunch of damage in the process before it takes out this Shelmet. And I actually end up forcing my opponent to shield too. So now we're on even shields, which is perfect. And then at this range too, I should be able to still win the match, this specific matchup. I think maybe they just want to weaken my Shelmet a bit, which makes sense. Yeah, because Nincada now can farm down, which looks like that's what they're going to do, which is a smart decision by my opponent. And I'm debuffed, so they don't have to worry about shielding. Alright, so here probably comes some Night Slashes. I'm just going to tank this and see how it goes. And then here comes a Bronzor, as predicted. So again, against a Bronzor, when you counter swap, don't throw a charge move. They throw a Side Shock right there, right? Let's see if they get to another one, and they don't. Right, so it doesn't matter if they throw a Heavy Slam or Side Shock, just go straight Bite. They won't be able to get the second charge move. And then this is going to do a bunch of damage from the Bite, and then able to finish off Nincada. And so yeah, that was my journey to rank 10 using a non-Bronzor team. Like I said before, I was using a Bronzor team before, and I was actually going to make a video on it featuring Tackle, but I was just like, you know what, that's not me. It felt weird to play something so meta and kind of boring in my opinion. But I get it, the meta is only a week, and so if you are using Bronzor, that's fine. Like I said, it's very strong for a reason. A big thank you and shout out to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. For those that want early access to my strategies, definitely feel free to sign up to the Meta Breaker tier or above. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.